Welcome to Talk Cosmos, the show where Sue Rose Minahan and her guests bring you insightful conversations to awaken heart and soul consciousness. Come journey with us exploring the meaningfulness of astrology's energetic cycles and get ready to understand your path in the cosmic roots of the stars.
Hello, everybody. I'm Sue Rose Minahan. This is Talk Cosmos, and today is March 22nd. In other words, right after the equinox, because you'll be listening to this today and later. It's all about vibrational astrology and quantum physics, ancients. Vibration is the name of the game, you could say. It is what magnitudes, it is what, I think that's a word, amplifies, resonates. It lives. Whether we see it or not, whether we feel it or not, but we do feel it. And it does transpire. So that's all the esoteric added thoughts about this. But it's such a strong time. Many of us are speaking about it. So let's find out what this vibrational astrology wants to say about this equinox starting point at 0 degrees here, North and South Hemisphere. Thank you. We are ready now. Thank you.
Quarterly on the third week, an exhilarating Talk Cosmos program embraces the equinox and solstice. The insightful lens of vibrational astrology frequencies reveals the energetic themes for each 3-month season. These individual and collective messages, initiated by the equinox and solstice moments, are supported by spiritually inspired Sabian symbols aligned on a soul and spirit basis. Get ready for our vibrational astrologers as they share this season's wisdom.
I'm Sue Rose Minahan, founder of Talk Cosmos since 2018. I'm an evolutionary astrologer, consultant, speaker, writer, vibrational astrology student, Dwarf Planet University graduate, Kepler Astrology Toastmasters Club charter member. I have a fine arts music degree plus a certificate in jazz. I'm an artist, musician, and certified color energy life coach. Especially, I love mythology and esoteric philosophies.
And I'm Linda Berry. I hold a professional astrology certificate in vibrational astrology from the Avalon School of Astrology, as well as a Master of Science in Social Work and bachelor degrees in psychology, mathematics, and computer programming. I teach vibrational astrology courses in the School of the Astrology of Vibrational Energetics online. I created Frequency Finder, an add-on to Cosmic Patterns, Sirius, and Kepler software. Frequency Finder provides an in-depth astrological analysis of your astrology chart. As a vibrational astrology researcher, I moderate a vibrational astrology research group, am an international consultant, a published author, and the writer of a free daily blog, the Vibrational Astrology Diary.
As an ancient mathematician, Pythagoras' music of the spheres about vibrating stars and planets, the electrical engineer Nikola Tesla said, "If you want to understand the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration." Well, there you go. We're in the right ballpark, Linda. Hi. Yeah. And I will say to all our wonderful people listening that sadly our wonderful Rob Passetti is stuck in New Orleans because of the TSA crisis that we have, which could be reflective, could be an interesting incubation of digesting. He's been there for days, listening and talking probably with people. But the point is he won't be with us on this particular occasion. So Linda and I will pursue. On we go. And with that, I have a very brief introduction of a few slides before we get into Linda's insightful messages here. But the seasons do occur because of our tilt with just astronomically looking at Earth and the sun's relationship. And here it shows that at that moment, as we orbit around in our path, 365 days around the sun, twice a year, the sun is at noon directly overhead, essentially with the idea that for that period of time, as brief as it is, there's equality. There is a uniform light. But the difference is, as Linda will show, the light shifts, whether you're north or south, whether it increases or not, because there is that distinction. But it does mean equal night. And there's a few times here that it occurs around the globe, because it was a few days ago. And I just wanted to bring up the significance of this for perhaps new people or just for interest's sake. But boy, my frog in my throat, I'm sorry. The Sphinx is one of the hallmarks of when the equinox comes up. And there's a whole list of places. Just Google it, you'll find it. And you can go back to this. It's all around the world, because it's not just the solstice, but this is the equinox that people are registering as a declaration of significance, however it is, but also on a very metaphysical basis of starts. What is vibrational astrology? It is frequency. There are many techniques. Some of them you'll discover today. And there are classes. You can go to Linda. She has an introduction. We'll find out about that. I'm going to speak less because this frog wants to intervene. Here are a few of the simple definitions of how vibrational astrology has, through their research, discovered the essence. And of course, these can be expanded upon, but it really clarifies what the thought is. And with the sun and the moon, it all has to do about time, because the light is evident. You see it with the sun, or else it's reflected with the moon. Again, we're not alone. Tesla, to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, vibration. And that'll end it. We'll go to Linda's now, and we'll come back just for that during half break. Thank you, Linda.
Are we ready to start?
Yes, you're on, and I'm going to.
Okay. All right. Then let's put up the slides.
He just flipped them right to you. We'll have to have a distinction.
Oh, here they are. Okay, yeah. They are here. Okay.
We have the same.
All right, the spring equinox. This is a time of balance. You know, the interesting thing about this is the one time twice a year in the spring and the fall when all over the world, the day and night is equal at the same time. We're all equal for one instant. And then we split again, and half of us get longer days and half of us get shorter days. But there's those 2 points of balance every year where we are equal. And I'm trying to overcome northern parochialism. I can't say the word well.
I like it.
So I put down that this is the spring-fall equinox, because in the north, it's a spring equinox. In the south, it's a fall equinox. And we are all equal, folks. All equal. So now the difference is that in the north, we start to have our days get longer. In the south, the days start to get shorter. But everywhere we shift. We shift direction at this time. Okay.
It's a powerful statement. It lodges. I love it.
Yeah. Now here's the chart for the spring equinox. This is for Washington, D.C., but it doesn't matter. It would be the same chart anywhere in the world. It's just a little different place on the wheel. The most distinctive feature of this chart is related to the fact that we just had Saturn conjunct Neptune in 0 of Aries.
An extraordinary
which is
event.
An extraordinary event. It affects the next 35 years. it will be 35 plus years before Saturn and Neptune conjunct again.
And it won't be in Aries, yes.
And it won't be in Aries, that's right. So, but this was not just in Aries, this was in 0 of Aries, the very beginning of the chart. And now what happens? The sun comes through and spring starts, 0 of Aries. So we have here, as you can see, Saturn and Neptune are still very close to each other and very close to the sun. They're all still close enough to be a conjunct, and the equinox was on the 20th, and the sun, let's see, yesterday it was conjunct Neptune. Today it's in between Neptune and Saturn. In the next day or two, it's going to conjunct Saturn. So we're getting the whole thing like a replay, a re-energizing of that Saturn-Neptune conjunction. So the sun being close to and approaching Saturn and Neptune, this highlights the dilemma of the Saturn-Neptune conjunction. Connection to fundamental truth, penetrating the illusion, all the illusions to get to the foundational, fundamental structure and truth that underlies it, or getting caught in illusion and deception and delusion.
The power of that is amplified by the fact that this is the 0 point of the chart. So in other words, this whole message, I think I'm going to keep in my head, and maybe others, as you find the other vibrations that are being transmitted through this chart that vibrational astrology sees. Because on top of it all, that's the goal, is to find out where is the thinking and illusions been, because we all have imagination, but yet what's realistic? What's going to ring? What can we hang on to?
Okay, so this is a chart with just the basic 10 planets in there, and pretty standard aspects. I also did the same chart with several of the asteroids, including Eris and Haumea. And Eris is interesting because it's exactly conjunct Chiron right now, and it is being conjunct Chiron for a significant period of time. And that has to do with us focusing in the moment on inclusion rather than exclusion. And Eris is pretty substantial.
Indeed.
And she's hardcore. And if you don't pay attention to her need for inclusion and you opt for exclusion, it really gets bad. That's all I'll need to say.
Well, I agree. It really, with it, one can look at that as to not just external, but internal. What are we missing within ourselves that we're excluding? People often, they don't step up to the table to be a leader, to be within their own community or in their own relationships. And I find that to be significant for people, for oneself, for myself, to realize, what am I excluding? Because, besides the fact of other people's needs and desire, what's important. And I know that you also had, in our chat, you included Pluto there, but I guess you didn't save it, just to bring that.
Oh, I missed it on this particular
That's okay.
page,
but the rebirth.
Pluto is also there. But the biggest thing, this Haumea, Eris is just doing Chiron and a little bit the moon and Venus, but Eris is not super pivotal in this chart. Haumea is. And Haumea has to do with birth and rebirth and prolific expression. And look at how it reaches across and connects to Ceres, Saturn, Pallas, Vesta, Mercury, and Pluto. Now, the most significant part of this is this brown line across here, from Haumea to Saturn. And that particular line is a quincunx. And that says that this is our challenge to re-examine our understanding of fundamental truth, fundamental foundation and structure of things. And what's weird is you will see as we go through the different areas, this keeps coming up. In the things we're talking about today, it keeps being reported over and over. And we have this little guideline, I guess you'd say, in astrology. If you see something happening in a chart 3 or more times, it's really, really important. So that's what we're looking at here. All right. So how may a rebirth, a call to rebirth, a new sense of what is fundamental, to connecting ideas in a new way, to a new sense of the social impact of our actions, a new sense of care and support for the growth of others, purification of that which is diseased, and Pluto, an obsessive sense that we must be reborn, we must restart things. And you know, folks, this fits with something else. This is a time when Pluto is going through the part of the chart that matched the Revolutionary War.
Indeed.
Back in 1777, 78, 79. I can't tell you exactly, but right in there. When we had to fight for our way of life, for our freedom. And guess what? It's happening again.
It is. I'm so glad to have you say that, because it's a replicated experience. It isn't just a one.
It's not identical. But
No. It's very clear, because I'm strong with this. In fact, next week, I'm going to be talking about this very much so, because the war was between 1775, and it really didn't end until 81. And then and so all during this time.
And then there was a period of about 10 or 12 years before they got the Constitution together.
Well, that was 1789. And that's exactly what we're talking about next week with Linda Wennerland. Exactly. So we were reforming and trying to negotiate and all these ideas about which way to go. I love this idea that it's ideas, it's how it socially relates, it's and the inclusivity with the transformation, however you want to say it. It's a whole package. It involves everything.
Okay, so I'm going to share a concept with you today.
This is an exciting one.
When you go through all the vibrations, each planet is in a different place in each vibration generally. And when you make a list of all of them for like 360 vibrations, so if it's 10 planets and 360 vibrations, that's 3,600 positions. Okay, it's actually more than that because we put the midpoints in. But you get conjunctions, folks. And the strongest conjunction, we call these interweavings, because they are weavings between the vibrations, connecting one vibration with another, linking ideas together and making them and enabling them to function like a unit. Okay, interweavings. The strongest interweaving is really interesting. It is. You can see it right here. See in the orange box. Mercury at 29 of Aries 48. Venus at 29 of Aries 48. They're the same place. So I put together some interpretation of these. And what's going to happen is Venus operating in 145 energy is going to join with Mercury operating in 166 energy. And through their middle point, they are going to be the theme of the spring. So Venus at 145. This is about getting involved in or exploring, interacting with, exploring different ways to live life. The map for the society. Every society has a map. That's the map of how it works, how the power is handled, how power changes, how people greet each other, all those kinds of things. That's all part of the social map. And right now, we know our map has failed. And we're working on figuring out how we want a different kind of map. And isn't that an interesting replay of the process at the start of our country, when we knew the structure we'd been living in had failed, and now we've got to figure out another one.
It is. And the factor, which I know you had hoped to do, is 29 times 5. And for vibrational people, I know I'm toggling between people that knew nothing about vibrations.
145 is 29 times 5.
Yeah, but I'm just clarifying so that registers too with the factor of the map that you're talking about in the exploratory. Right. But it does, it rings.
So we're looking for a new organic sense of life to rise up within us.
Oh, there's hope there.
So next,
that's good.
Mercury in 166, the other half. This is 83 times 2, folks, for those of you that work with the numbers. To do your own thing, reaching outward, breaking the barriers of expected behavior, reorganizing the patterns around you by rearranging the mental concepts you encounter.
Ooh, that's powerful.
Okay, so when we combine them together, we get something like this. To be able to communicate beautifully, that's Mercury, Venus, and effectively about a new model for living life where you can communicate in ways that transcend the barriers of society and move beyond expected behavior. Now, here's the deal. When you have, this is 145 and this is 155.5. Where in the world did I get that from? If you take 145 plus 166 and you divide it by 2, the average or the middle is 155.5.
Half 5.
And this is the central focus of the interweaving. Because when I discovered this, I can't believe this. And then after a while, I played around with it. I actually proved mathematically that this happens. And you don't want to see the mathematics.
I've been in class and
I did prove it.
You did. And I jotted it down because it rang, mathematically, but still.
Yeah. So now in this is the one on the inside is 145. And we've got the Mercury, Venus in 145. Let's see. This is what I was on. Mercury, Venus in 145. It's up here. It's 15 of Gemini, 37. Up
the outside ring. Yeah.
No, not the outside ring. The Mercury, Venus midpoint. The point halfway between Mercury and Venus here in 145 is 15 of Gemini, 37. And the Mercury in 155.5 is sitting on it.
Yeah, that's what I meant, on the outside, ring. Yes, sitting on it. Yeah.
I was trying to get them to understand the inside first. That was okay. So communicating ideas that help people operate more authentically as who they are, they genuinely are, by getting involved in another map for living life where you find a new organic sense of life rising up in you.
This is the power. Again and again, people have said, rise up. Now is the time to get out of the river. This Hopi idea that gets thrown around of that's where you'll find people, but you have to be yourself. So this idea of being authentic to yourself.
It's really big here. It goes through this whole chart.
And that's where Aries is saying, be all of yourself. Yeah.
That 155.5, if you're like me, when I first saw 0.5, I went, what in the world do I do with this?
But
then I realized, and have since verified with research, that 155.5 combines 155 and 156. The element that's shifting between 155 and 156 is embodied in 155.5. So 155 is 31 times 5.
That's significant.
All right, which is experimenting with different ways of organizing society, taking into account the importance of personal integrity and authentic behavior.
And if I might just add in, because we do have a little time, well, we'll get through these charts and we'll come back. But the fact is that 31 really does emphasize that each one of us has this idea of what we really see the world as, our focus of reality. And
how we think the world needs to operate.
Yeah. So we're dealing with everybody that's operating on that level and in an experimental way. Yeah.
Now, the 156, you can see that 78 times 2. Well, if you break the 78 down, it becomes 13 times 12.
Woo, that's a tricky one.
Yeah, which is a very interesting vibration, because 13 is about tuning into the genuine center or core of yourself, and 12 is about harmonious action. Yeah. So you get something like making changes that are more fluid and harmonious, that enable people to more truly and genuinely, to be more truly and genuinely themselves. So 155.5, helping people operate more authentically as who they genuinely are. That's a major theme in the spring equinox, folks. Okay, so here's the first half of it we already talked about. I accidentally skipped the slide on 155.5, had to go back. All right, so there's that. And then we have Venus.
Shall we come back to this, or do you want to continue? We could take a break. I don't know.
Okay, we'll take a break and then we'll go on.
Yeah, so in other words, what we're dealing with is this whole, like an arrow going forward, us engaging by being the true self and helping others be their self, and through the muddle, figure out what's going to really be the truth of past the faults. Thank you, Linda. Thank you so much. I'm inspired. I know we'll be right back. This is just a brief getaway. There's so much more, and Linda has good information. So we'll see you in a moment. Bye. While we take a break from this week's edition of Talk Cosmos, let's take a look at this cycle's archetype. We're currently in the period of Aries. By leaving a cycle based upon completion, the energy of Aries sparks initiation, creating action to separate into a new cycle of life. It's a fire sign, which means it will involve great emotion. And because separation may create resistance, it also takes great courage to break away to new ways of becoming.
Talk Cosmos ignites insightful conversations to awaken heart and soul consciousness with hour-long programs every Sunday at 1 p.m. Pacific on KKNW. Also available to watch live on the Talk Cosmos YouTube channel and Facebook page. While you're there, make sure you click their like and subscribe buttons so you get the full Talk Cosmos experience. You can listen to earlier podcasts since 2018, either on most podcast carriers or under the video tab on Talk Cosmos YouTube. To join our expedition and find out about upcoming programs, sign up for the newsletter at talkcosmos.com and launch your week into the cosmic wonder.
This is Martha Norwalk, every Sunday morning beginning at 9 a.m. Thanks in part to Natasha Venter at intuitiveclarifications.com, we cover the world of animals. This week, it's an encore presentation. Tune in to hear our last energy balancing show with best practitioner Linda Rasmussen. She took phone calls and helped callers and their animal friends with emotional, behavioral, and physical issues, and you can receive a surrogate healing just by tuning in and following along with her instructions. Martha Norwalk's Animal World, Sunday morning, 9 a.m. to noon, right here on Alternative Talk, AM 1150.
You found us. Maybe you've been guided to listen. Alternative Talk 1150.
Hi, we are right back again, and here just a real quick, brief intro to remind people about how to find Linda. And this generally, I'll go into it further, but she does have a school of astrology of vibrational energetics, and her email will go in. Let me just go ahead. It is a school of astrology of vibrational energetics, and she is astrosleuth.org. That's how you find it. Classes always begin in January and June. And her email will be coming up in just a moment. That's here. Linda at Astrological Depth. That's DEPTH. And because she has her free diary that sends out every day about these planets on an ongoing basis. It's fascinating. It's also on Facebook. You could join that way. But in addition, there's a Sabian report that she produces monthly, and it involves the new moon and full moon. However, like this last month included the special equinox, the eclipses, the conjunction with Saturn, Neptune. It never ends. It's fantastic. And there's a lot of insight and education that way. And along with her Sabian symbols. Fractal Cosmos started last year. Linda, I don't know it.
That's our Vibrational Astrology Conference, and it is online at this point. And we're planning to have one in November. We'll be giving you some more information at the summer winter solstice, and the fall spring equinox. We'll be giving you more information about it. But we are planning to have a conference.
The second one
in November, about a week before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, because last year it was Labor Day, and that's UAC this year, so we'll have rest and be ready to charge in online. Wonderful. And Rob Passetti, who will be with us in the summer winter solstice.
With the summer winter solstice.
And this is weekly. I have different events. These are just highlighting a few. And of course, Linda and Rob were together with me just a month ago and really gave wonderful messages, vibrational messages for this conjunction with Saturn Neptune. So check that one out, if nothing else. And coming up next week will be one with Linda Wenderlin, and we're focusing on just what Linda brought up with the Congress Constitutional on March 4th, 1789, that's earmarked and set us off on this new constitutional focus that we're having. So that's all I have, and I am finished. Back to there.
Okay, yes. And let me just say one more thing before we start back into this. I do have a class for new students. It's starting the 1st of June. So if you would like to know more about that, or you're interested in possibly learning more about vibrational astrology, then you should contact me by email. Okay, now we were talking about how these midpoints happen with the 155.5, the middle vibration. And going on here, additional vibrational influences. These are significant patterns in the natal chart that are actually in a particular vibration. And a lot of times they kind of line up on top of each other, and they carry a particular significance. And one of the ongoing themes this time is 31 is about your idea about how the world should operate, how things should be ordered and structured. And that's right there. One of the strongest energies in the natal chart is this pattern that has to do with organizing our society. And here we've got spontaneous insight about changing the way society is organized based on a compulsive referencing of past events and how they relate to the present.
That's exactly the situation. And with the moon, looking at the past and the emotional context of it,
Yeah.
and every email you get, every dynamic here
Yeah,
is that.
yeah, it's all right there. Now, if you see this, see how this pattern is set up. This is a natal chart, the pattern in the natal chart.
That's strong.
Here's the pattern that lays over it. They've got a common moon, Venus, Pluto, which is a compulsive sense of the importance of past ways we've operated, like the Constitution, maybe.
Yes,
Um,
and Congress,
So
right?
this is working with others cooperatively, because 31 times 8, to achieve change in the organization of society based on an attraction to the beauty of past concepts. Now, that's one of the two patterns. The other one is with 119. And as you see, this is another big pattern that's happening in the chart. Now, the interesting thing about these is both of these involve Moon Venus, which I think is really interesting. Moon Venus seems to be very important, this sense of the beauty of something with a long history.
We have our dreams, we have our ideals.
Right.
When you think of all that, that's what
And we have
tethers
the
us.
dreams and the ideals of our country, whichever country
Yes.
we may be in, we're having to look at whether we accomplish those dreams.
And the hopes that our life will be unified in a cohesive way, whatever that might be, on a safe basis.
Mm-hmm. Now, again, we have two levels of this. This is the first level, the 119, 17 times 7, and here is 17 times 7 times 2. And what this involves is other people's situations impacting you deeply and working to help others to be more successful.
That 17 is really relevant. That's
about the experience
stories, other
people
people's
have in their life,
stories.
the story of their life.
And then, you think about the ancients, that's how stories were how people understood life. And the word, keeps getting passed down. So that's integral in people. I have it strong in me. So it seems like, of course, that's everybody. But I do think society on a whole. So what I'm getting at is that it's internal with 7. So we're really.
Yeah, the 7 makes it very internal, organizing ourselves inside based on what we learn from other people's experiences. All right, this is the second level of that. And here we have responding in the moment to help others to reorganize and realign their lives more successfully. Okay, so that's the chart work. And we have left the Sabian symbol lessons.
Yes.
Shall we go ahead, Sue?
Oh, absolutely. Because I think just to tie in so far what we have at the very beginning, we were looking at the rebirth. And rebirth is not just changing the channel that we watch or a different Netflix program. It involves a deep cathartic involvement of our own self and others. So all of this, it's very indicative that this is a big story that we're engaging in. I mean, right now, this is our spring event for 3 months, folks, of this dynamics interchanging and getting like your story, my story, what you think of in life. So yes, did you have any thoughts about that too?
Okay. The first symbol has really set me back.
All right.
What I do for the spring and the fall and summer and winter, the solstices and equinoxes, since the sun is always at exactly the same place. All right, to get a message, I look at the distance between the sun and the moon. And the distance between the sun and moon is 20 degrees and 31 minutes, which becomes 20 of Aries 31 or 21 of Aries, which is a pugilist entering the ring. And folks, a pugilist is a fighter, a boxer, a wrestler, something like that. It's that whole thing of entering that ring to have a contest.
Thank you.
Okay, so this is about feeling a strong sense of yourself as a person who's willing to stand up for yourself and fight for what you know and believe in, no matter what the opposition.
That encapsulates.
I just could not believe that this was the symbol we got for the spring equinox.
It expresses very well exactly what I was expounding on. It's that these energies, standing up for yourself. I think that's the whole message. You got to have all of yourself. It's yes, and interacting, being brave, having courage.
So, okay. Remember, this is the personality, the most behavioral level. The soul level, what's happening inside of us in this process. A sculptor is the symbol. It's 27 of Sag.
Ooh, that's the galactic center.
Exactly. It's on the galactic center.
Oh, wow.
You are working on cutting away the dross and revealing the true essence buried deep within yourself. The sculpture, taking off the stuff that doesn't need to be there anymore so you can get to the beauty. Or you are being locked in rigid shapes that obscure your true evidence and doggedly hanging on to those patterns, expecting change without any effort on your part.
Well, I think this idea of being that sculptor, bit by bit, letting it wash away, adjusting to the moment, understanding what it's really responding with inside and around you. It's a lot of work, but it's revealing. You can operate and function instead of always being, yeah. That's powerful.
Okay. So that's a second symbol. And the third symbol, the spirit level lesson. A woods rich in autumn coloring. You're quietly considering who you have become, reflecting on, releasing and letting go of all superficial aspects of yourself and displaying the flame of spirit within you, letting it shine unclouded and clear. Or you can focus on superficialities and watch them die and feel like you're losing everything.
It's a process. Right. I think in a sense that's what happens until you realize, hey, there's another side of this. Yeah, 18 Scorpio. And especially what a beautiful image of autumn coloring. It is. All those favorite colors and the changing of it. It's
and you think when you think about that, in the summer, all the trees are green. And in the fall, that common greenness disappears and the individual beauty of each tree appears.
Ooh, I get goosebumps.
Distinctive shades of beauty, because even in a particular species, the individual trees will be a little different in their coloring. So you get this shining through of the flame of spirit within you, unclouded and clear. So we are being challenged right now. What this means is we are being challenged to let go of all the trivial stuff and let shine the true radiant beauty of our spirits and souls.
It really is a process of seeing your attachments. I find attachments very sneaky. It's very easy. Just take an article that you might have. Like, for instance, I have behind me Athena that was my dad's. And I latch into a lot of certain meaningfulness of that. But push come to shove, that's just a symbol and of Athena. I know that may not be the best example, but the point is that as you start letting go and realizing what the attachment, where did it what is it really looking at? What is symbolically behind it? We can begin to weave through and simplify to get down to what is fundamental.
Okay. And what I did here is I collected the positive expression of the three symbols to show the opportunity to, okay, I wish I knew how to make that disappear for a bit.
You went back,
That little thing
yes.
that moves the slides. It gets right across what I'm trying to see.
Yes, I understand. Not for me, but for you, yes.
Right. So, okay, but here's what we have. To feel the opportunities are to feel a strong sense of yourself as a person who is willing to stand up for yourself and fight for what you know and believe in, no matter what the opposition. To work on cutting away the dross and revealing the true essence buried deep within you. And I have to go back for this one, to quietly consider who you have become, reflecting on releasing and letting go of all the superficial aspects of yourself and displaying the flame of spirit within you, letting it shine unclouded and clear. So this is the opportunities for us to connect in with ourselves and show the beautiful light that each one of us carries. The pitfalls. One is to fail to effectively defend your point of view and have to deal with the consequences. Two is to get locked in rigid shapes that obscure your true essence and doggedly hang on to these patterns, expecting change without any effort on your part. And three is to focus on superficialities and watch them die, feeling like you're losing everything that is of any importance in your life. And the thing is that the true essence is still there, but you're looking at all the things that are leaving instead of the beautiful things that are core that you still have. And you're feeling like you're losing when you're actually gaining a true perspective on yourself.
Hopefully this, stay with that. That's beautiful. Oh, I love these pictures too.
Okay. So that's the slideshow. And
no, we have time. We still have 5
we
7
have
minutes.
A few minutes left. So let's go back here and look at this one.
Okay.
This is the one where I think we can get additional information that's useful. Haumea. Haumea was Saturn. Let me talk about Saturn for just a minute, since we've got a couple minutes here to go over something.
Yep. We do.
Saturn gets a bad rap. And sometimes Saturn's really hard to deal with. But Saturn is about cutting away all the superficial, trivial stuff and getting down to the foundation, the core, the real depth and true essence of things. And the thing is that sometimes that feels like you're losing everything because we get awfully attached to those things that are stuck there on top. Mm-hmm. What this is telling us here, and this is one of the big lessons of the spring that is focused here, is this is Haumea circled in blue down here, and Saturn up here, and they are in this big brown aspect. That's a quincunx. And the research we've done has indicated that the quincunx is about learning how to develop something inside of yourself. In transits like this, it looks like it has to do with adjusting things. And what this is telling us is we need to adjust our understanding, have a rebirth of clear understanding of what is the essential depth and truth at the core of life, at the core of ourselves. What makes life work right, folks? And we need to have a rebirth of understanding of it. That's what that's saying.
Well, just shows such as this help illuminate that. And I think interactions, I'm just thinking what people can do, like a takeaway, besides educating yourself and just becoming aware that, yes, what you see is what we're actually experiencing in the world, and to define it, to recognize it. But beyond that, it is interacting with those people that you have commonality, that you can learn to let go of, or learn to re-express, or, to develop this whole organic way that we're being compelled to discover, to reinvent, to purify.
Okay. And let's see here.
Yeah, growth is.
Go ahead. Yeah, we've got that. We've got Ceres, which is a new sense of our responsibility, of the social impact of our actions. That what we do is not just about us, it ripples through society. And Vesta here. Vesta is really interesting because our research showed that Vesta is about purifying, about cleansing, about getting out the, you could say, the corruption, the disease, the
toxicity,
getting that out and purifying the system. Now, you have to be really clear with this, because if you try to purify the wrong thing, you mess everything up.
That's alchemy. It sounds like, what people are talking about.
Purification is very important, but you need to purify in a way that releases and cleanses things and brings about more good behavior. You don't want to purify in a way that's harmful. And that's very capable of being harmful. So
that's a good distinction. Go ahead.
Yeah.
It's most valuable.
About how things are happening, not just what's happening, but how it's happening. And I love the palace. Palace in our research proved to be about working to help develop those that don't have, or that are like maturing, like children or people who haven't learned everything. Then it's this almost nurturing kind of development where you actually want the person that you're working with to get better than you.
That combines with all this other energy, that it's not me, it's we, it's the greater good. It's us as part of the cog that makes the gear shifts with everybody work. It doesn't lose your individuality. It enhances and brings the best out, but it's not all about us. It's about that exchange.
It's a balance, folks. There's a lot of stuff here that implies an awareness of our impact on others. But there's also, in the spring, there's also a strong energy toward being able to genuinely be who you are, develop who you are, and express that within the social context, and for us all to be open and accepting enough to let people be real and to still love them.
That's right. We have our foibles. Perfection is just, but I'm thinking of a garden. It is spring, at least up in the northern hemisphere, and even in the south, down below, we've experienced summer as it's going and it's moving on, meaning that there are plants that shade are big and shade those plants that need shade. And there are plants that strive up to find their spot in the sun. It's a time of independence to find your people and speak within and produce. Thank you, Linda, Barry. Folks, yeah, remember her classes are beginning, and this is really an adventure of thought that she has. It works with David Cochran with this great vibrational astrology. It's nothing new, but it's like it is new. Thank you, Linda. Maybe we'll think of another time between now and winter.
Let's see what summer holds, the next phase of the process.
But remember, folks, repeat these, look at these. This is the time, and I wish everybody a bountiful growth within and without.
Thank you for joining this vibrant and insightful conversation on Talk Cosmos, the show where Sue Rose Minahan and her guests awaken consciousness by connecting heart and soul consciousness patterns with astrology's energetic cycles. Be sure to tune in next week, same time, same place, to continue your journey through the roots of the cosmic pathway.